Before we begin our discussion of blood type, let's review what we know about blood. According to the textbook, about half of the volume of blood is made up of blood cells that begin as stem cells. In bone marrow, and these stem cells can develop into any of the kinds of cells found in blood, including red cells, white cells, and platelet. Hmm. So some stem cells become white cells or leukocytes, and these are essential to the immune system. And when bacteria or germs invade the body, some of the white cells form antibodies to resist the infection. Some of the white cells form antibodies to resist the infection directly, while other white cells begin to work on the chemistry of the foreign substance itself to fight the infection. Now, compared with red blood cells, there are relatively few white blood cells. Only about 1 for every 700 red cells. And the smallest of the blood cells are called platelet. But what they don't have in size, they make up for in numbers. Well, most of us have about 2 trillion of them, and they work to help the blood to clot and repair holes in the wall of blood vessels. But we need a way to transport the blood, right? Plasma is a liquid substance in blood that transports most of the chemicals, vitamins and minerals, hormones and enzymes. But most stem cells become red blood cells or erythrocytes. They are the most numerous. As I mentioned before, there are about 700 to every 1 white blood cell. So the red cells give blood the color red, and they are important for what we call blood typing. And blood typing is what I want to get going on today. Now, blood types are a classification of red blood cells according to the presence of specific substances, antigenic protein, and carbohydrates, and you can see them under the microscope on the surface of the cells. The 4 blood types are identified by letters A, B, AB, and O. Blood type A contains red blood cells with the antigen A. Blood type B contains red blood cells with the antigen B. The AB blood type contains both antigens. And O blood type contains no antigens. But the individual with this type can form antibodies containing either A or B antigens. Excuse me, is that why all blood type is considered a universal blood type? Because it comes from antibodies with either A or B antigens? Right, here. But in typing the blood, the antigens are really much more complex than the explanation might suggest. Oh. There are at least 300 different antigens. In fact, there are so many potential combinations that an individual blood type is almost as unique as a fingerprint. But anyway, these basic types are used for determining compatibilities for blood transfusions. Before transfusions is approved, hospitals always perform a procedure called a cross-match, which involves taking a sample of the donor's red blood cells and mixing them with a sample of the patient's plasma. You see, in almost every individual cells when the visual cells. So during a transfusion, antibodies in the patient's plasma can bind to antigens. On the donor's red blood cells when the donor's blood is not similar to that of the patient. Well, many minor reactions can occur, like fever or chills, but some reactions are so severe that they lead to spontaneous destruction of the red blood cells from the donor, and that can result in shock or even death. So you can understand why blood typing is so important. Cross-matching lowers the risk of a serious reaction. Serious reaction. Okay, in cross-matching, we take red cells from all one person and plasma from the other person, and we watch to see whether there's a negative response. Take a look at this diagram. It's on page 120, no, 12. In your textbook, here's what you're looking at with the reaction caused by incompatible blood. See how the cells clump together. The reason that this is happening is because there's a chemical reaction between the protein molecules in the blood cells of one person and the plasma of the other. Now look at this slide. This diagram is on the next page in your textbook, and this shows a compatible match with no clumping. ああ、パパ、眠いです。にゃんにゃんにゃん。うん。compatible. Oh. Compatible match with no clumping.